Hi, I'm Matt from HockeyReviews.ca, and we have a ton of stuff here, but we're going to talk about kind of one brand specifically, and that is the CutShield brand. So we have CutShield socks, as well as wrist guards, and as well as like slash guards as well. Cut resistant material on the socks and wrist guards and slash guards. So we're going to talk about those. We're going to do a test on those, and we're going to talk about them and compare it to some other things and how I use this to work with elbow pad and stuff like that. So before we begin all of this, CutShield sent me these socks as well as the wrist guards. They've been sending me a few of them to the point where I have the older version, which is the 4, and now my producer wears them as well for the sock. I wear a ton of base layers and stuff like that, and I was going for slash guards a long time ago with Evoshields, and they ended up doing one with Evoshield in here as well. So that kind of spawned from there, me talking about cut resistant materials. They reached out a long time ago and said, hey, do you want to check out our socks? And I was happy to do so. So I kind of talked about it a little bit in the past, but since there's a lot of cut resistant stuff going on in the NHL and the hockey world right now because of the horrific accident that happened in Europe, I'm going to talk about this stuff right now because it's pretty solid, and we're going to do a cut test on it and talk about that because a lot of people are looking for this stuff, and this isn't generally sold in stores that much. It's sold kind of direct, and a ton of NHL players wear them. So we're going to go over all of this. So make sure you check out CutShield in the description. I don't have an affiliate code or anything with them, but it's a kind of a small operation compared to some of the other big companies out there. They're really solid, and they're working on some pretty awesome products, and they make fantastic stuff here. Which Core Tech, which are core shorts, and people have heard of these before. They were labeled under Under Armour before. Now Bauer sells hockey specific one, but Core themselves sell their own line of pants and supportive clothing and apparel. Basically, this stuff helps you with growing strains, growing pulls, and helps keep your hips tight and everything like that. And speaking of injuries, I kind of pulled a growing playing in the playoffs a few months ago and have had to keep using these Core Tech shorts to make sure my growing doesn't get worse. When I don't wear them, I can feel it and it hurts kind of to walk the next day. With these, keeps everything nice and tight and keeps everything from stretching out too far and getting injured. So these have been a huge savior for me. Check out the link in the description to their website and use my coupon code that's in there to get a discount, and I'll put it on the screen here. It helps support myself and the channel so I can make content and doing real reviews, but also you get a solid product that I use all the time and basically am needed. So like I mentioned, I've had CutShield stuff for a while now, and this is the Pro Air 4, and I talked about it on Instagram. Didn't really do much on YouTube, so we're going to jump into that on this side of things. This is the Pro Air 4, and the 4 and the 6, as you can see on this one, and which the wrist guards now have a 9 version on them. That is with this cut resistant level. So A4 here is for the Air 4s. The 6s would have got a 6, and the 9 got a 9. They have their cut resistant performance test. So this was sent to an independent lab, and they come back with this score. They have this test on their website for the different products that they use, which is really awesome that you can see this. So check that out. This is obviously a very old paper because this isn't the 9 one, this is the 4 one. And unfortunately, I stuck a sticker on there and it ripped off the stuff up here. So unfortunately, that's why it looks like that. But this is the old test and old sheet, so we're gonna get rid of that, and we're gonna talk about their newer stuff right now. So we're gonna jump into the socks first. So the 4, obviously that one is the A4 level, and they're fantastic, but the newer ones they have is the A6. There's a slight difference between these two in that the heel is slightly different. So you can see the heel material on the 6 is just slightly different, as well as the toe material. I'm not sure if this was a durability reason or whatever. I had no problems with these at all, and I've worn them for about 6 months now. So they've worked pretty well, but these ones are just slightly different. And I've had a few people talk about the sizing on these. They said there's no way the child size can fit the adult size. Well, this sock right here fits me totally fine in this skate, which is an 8.5. And I have a size 11 shoe. And this one, which I've also worn this one and it fits totally fine, is my producer's, and she has a size 4.5 skate. So this one, it fits a little bit higher on like the back here. It doesn't totally fit her heel cup perfectly, but the skate sock still works and everything, and then she folds over the top a bit if it's a bit too long, where this one works totally fine for me and is not too tight, and it's super stretchy and it's super soft and it's fantastic. So for the sock itself, I've worn a lot of cut resistant brands out there. I've worn Warrior. I have these Verbero ones, which are super comfortable, but the top started kind of coming undone, which honestly that happens on a lot of brands, but you can see right here how that stitching came undone. This is kind of scratchy up here, really soft down here, but it's kind of thicker. I've worn these awful Bauer ones, which are Kevlar, and these are one of the original ones that really hit the retail market, and these are not soft at all. They're kind of stretchy, but they're not great. Honestly, CutShield ones are by far the best ones I've ever worn. They're thin enough that it's almost like those super thin ones where you can see your foot through, but not quite that thin. So you can't see your foot through this when it stretches. Kind of do the little hand test right here and kind of show it off, but you can see you can't see your actual skin through this. It's not that crazy thin, but at the same time, it's thin enough where when I have my super custom skates and tighter fitting skates like these CCMs where I have to wear a thinner sock, and same with my true player skates where I have to wear a thinner sock, I can wear these no problem, where before I had to wear very thin socks that were see-through through here. Like you could see my feet through them, which means how thin they are. This one works fantastic for it and has no issue whatsoever and is extremely comfortable and stretchy and really nice. The other really nice part about this that they talk about is this material is cut resistant, as well as it doesn't lose its properties of cut resistantness by washing it. So you can put it in the washing machine, you can put it in the dryer, where Kevlar stuff like this, you aren't supposed to dry and you can't let the sunlight kind of get to it or it loses its cut resistant properties. This stuff works even after you wash it and everything. So that's really impressive and a nice like quality of life thing you don't really have to worry about. I absolutely love these socks and swear by them and always wear cut resistant socks. I've worn them for years and years and years, and I bought in a ton of pairs because I play so much, and these ones are simply my favorite pair now. We are going to talk about their sleeves. So they have a couple products here. So this is one of the older sleeves, and this is one of the newer sleeves, and you can see the size difference on it. They do have sizes. Well, this one had sizes on there. This is a brand where they change stuff on the fly a lot to make really nice changes. Like the 4 to the 6 kind of came out of nowhere. It was just, oh yeah, by the way, now we have a more cut resistant material. So now we have a 6 one, and so the Air 4 ones are kind of more of an older model type, and now they have a newer one. So that's kind of what they're doing with this, where they now have A9s of these. And I'm pretty sure when I got this one, this was an A4, and then we now are on a 9. So it's kind of impressive that they're making those jumps and making more of it. You see this a lot in the NHL. I wish I could go on Getty Images and grab photos from like the Leafs, because you see a ton of Leafs players with these on their wrists, and if you see like this kind of color, it's probably a CutShield. So they have a couple options. They have their newer one, which is like this, and obviously you just slide this on and you have cut resistant here to protect your wrists and everything like that, so which is really a nice thing. So the other one I wear all the time though is this one right here, which has a little pocket, as you can see right there, and it comes with an Evoshield. So you put the Evoshield there, and you have slash protection as well as the cut resistant properties of it. So huge fan of that. Now the reason I really love this as well is, we'll use this one as an example. We put this on, and then we put my elbow pad on. So not only do you get more slash protection and cut resistant on your wrist, and you can pull this down more too. Basically, you now have a piece that really holds your elbow pad in place. So when you push your elbow pad down, like I'm trying right now, I'm really trying to, it won't really slide down because that is in there. And you can loosen this off a lot. So you can sometimes have to crank that down, where this kind of cuts off circulation. Because this is in here and acting as an anchor, it's not allowing that to kind of slide over and go over. So it kind of acts as a very good elbow pad kind of thing that keeps up, and it's not super thick either. So you can see it's pretty low profile. So I had no issues with gloves getting in the way of this. Even with gloves with flex cuffs like these 11/12Ks, you put it on and it actually doesn't get in the way at all with these, where I had that as an issue with some other ones. As you can see, it totally works that. It's getting in the way with this, but actually for the glove itself and that wrist guard, it has no problems whatsoever. And it, like, you can have that extra coverage there even with a flex cuff. So that is a nice thing there. I love this design. This thing works great. Yes, you're getting a bit more protection in that as well, and you're getting that material right there. It doesn't go quite as low as what this one does, so hopefully maybe they can change that in the future, where it has kind of the pocket stopping here and goes a bit deeper, because I wouldn't mind a little bit more down there. You could kind of pull it down a bit, but then you're kind of losing kind of that holding spot right there. So I like where that kind of sits right there, and it's going to be hard to get in there anyways. But I love this overall, and this is one of the things where now if I don't use it, I almost feel naked. One, not just because of you have that guard there and you do have that cut resistant material through there, but because it is doing that extra work for the elbow pads. I don't really have to worry about the elbow pads sliding anywhere, so it's really nice for that too. Now for this test, obviously I'm not going to put my hand in here and step on it or anything and go crazy. What we're going to do is we're going to put a cardboard box through it, and then we're going to slice at it with a skate to see what happens, to see if it kind of slices through. We'll see what happens to the box. So we'll put that on there. And you can see them at CutShield doing this on their Instagram and stuff. They'll do this test, and they've done actual slicing tests and not just someone putting their hand on it and going over here. But this is what we're going to do and show off. So as you can see, skate went over it. We look on the other side and it's obviously squished because I squished cardboard, but it never actually went through it. And you can see the material. You have a little bit of perforation right there and nothing else through that. And yes, this isn't me stepping on it, but still, this is a sharp skate that I just did on my Sparks. And you can see the results are it didn't go through that. And just to go one more time, and again, this isn't a scientific test. This is me just kind of putting this on here and doing it for fun. You can see the results from an independent lab that does the testing for all cut resistant materials or cut resistant materials in general, that you can get that level at. So check that out, because they're obviously better than this, and this is just kind of a fun thing to see what happens. You can see again holding up, and it still has just that on that one corner piece where you can start getting it there, and it doesn't even go all the way through. So we look on the, we'll do it on the other side one more time as well though, just to get an idea. Nothing on that one. And you can see a little piece right there as well. And when we look on the other side, so this is kind of a two-layered piece, right? So that one definitely has some stuff right there. Turn it on the other side, absolutely nothing. So right there, it got through the outer layer. And then we go to the other side, and it's still good. So you can see remnants of it, like where some of those pieces have kind of ripped there, but it's not all the way through. And now if we pull this across, you can really see the damage that we did there through the skate. So obviously, this is slicing back and forth. You aren't going to get that kind of motion when you're on the ice. It's going to be one quick go, but it's going to be a lot more force because it's going to be someone's probably weight on it if they step on you by mistake. So not obviously a real perfect test, but shows you how, yes, it does protect you from a skate. And if I did that on, I don't have a piece of clothing I'm going to destroy, I'm sure you'd see the difference of how badly that clothing would be ripped. But this is a quality product, and like I said, they have their results test on their website, so check those out. It tells you what the AN levels are. Those are a protective standard done by a bunch of industries, right, for protective equipment and clothing, everything like that for people in manufacturing. Check that out, because that is the legitimate test, and that gives you the real details. But I wanted to make a kind of a quick-ish video on some of their different products, like these awesome slash guards that I swear by and use all the time. So make sure you check them out. You can find their link to them in the description. Again, I don't get a kickback through them or anything. I don't have an affiliate code with them, but it's a fantastic product, and I definitely suggest people wear it. And especially with what's going on in the world of hockey right now, where people are worried about cut resistant stuff and being super protected, this is going to definitely help with that, and is, like I mentioned, a solid product. And like I mentioned, this is definitely a solid product, and it will definitely help in keeping your wrists protected and your Achilles protected and stuff like that. And they do have some base layer clothing as well with their stuff sewn on, and they've had NHL teams sew this material into like the pants and stuff like that on the inside leg. So pretty awesome that what they're doing. You can see them in the NHL whenever you're looking at players. Look at their wrists. If you see this color, it's probably them. Absolutely love this stuff. Make sure you check it out. Protect yourself, protect the people you love, and as they're saying is, go gray and stay safe out there. So hopefully this video was a little helpful. Obviously, again, not a real scientific test or anything, just kind of a fun taking a look at it type thing. It was kind of interesting how this works. So check their stuff out, and hopefully this video was helpful. Thank you very much for watching. Remember, subscribe to me on YouTube, follow me on Instagram and TikTok. Links are in the description. If you want to support the channel and you're buying hockey equipment anyways, check out the links in the description. If you're in Canada, Hockey Supremacy. If you're in US, Pure Hockey, clicking those links and making a purchase gives me a kickback, so I keep making more content and doing more videos. Otherwise, check out the links in the description to buy me a coffee. Everything through any of those links always comes back in the channel, so I can keep making more content and doing more reviews. Thank you very much for watching, and take it easy.
You're watching HockeyReviews.ca.